Hi, this is Ted Rogers on History by the Plate. Now today is Valentine's Day, though this is going to be airing the day after, but my wife and I, the beautiful Glenda Rogers, also known as the Wild Love Monkey, are cooking in the kitchen together and we're making one of our favorite meals. We're making pork carnitas. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting off with about 4.5 pounds of pork butt that I did a dry rub on last night. Well, actually yesterday afternoon. So it's been about 24 hours and I did a dry rub in just basically fajita seasoning. So it had a chance to, the meat had a chance to absorb all of that flavor. So how we're going to start this now, and this is going to be a larger process than a lot of you guys are going to want to do at home, but on Friday I'm posting a recipe for a more diminutive portion, which is going to be much easier to make at home. But to start this, what we're going to do is I'm going to slide this to the side. I've got my Dutch oven here, so I'm going to take the pork butt, put it in the Dutch oven, and then what I've done is I've quartered a yellow onion, a medium-sized yellow onion, and I'm going to put those quarters, and they'll fall apart and that's fine, in here. And then I'm going to take this over to the sink. I'm going to step around my dog who's in the way. Hello Sassy, I love you. And I'm going to fill this up to the point where the water is just covering the pork. So we're just about there. Maybe you can see Sassy's nose going where Sassy's nose is not supposed to go. So what we've done is we've got that, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on, bring it up to a boil, then lower it to a simmer and cover it for 2 hours. Okay, so there we go. The pan has been nicely cleaned. You can see the nice shine in there. The rock salt or coarse sea salt did a great job. And we're going to fill this up in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, to about halfway point with some good organic non-hydrogenated pork lard. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm getting this heated up. It's copper, so it really conducts the heat well. And I'm adding then pork lard. Now, this is organic non-hydrogenated pork lard that I actually rendered, my wife and I actually rendered at home a little over a year ago. I'm going to add that. It's about, going to add a total of about 5 pounds or so. And we rendered this down from what's called leaf fat, pork leaf fat. And when you're cooking with lard, as long as it's the non-hydrogenated, you're cooking with an oil that's as healthy to cook with as olive oil. The non-hydrogenated lard is a good fat and healthy fat to cook with. Now we've used this actually once before, and that's the other nice thing about the lard, is that as long as you store it properly, and we stored it in these bags airtight in the freezer, as long as you store it properly, you can reuse it several times. This is going to be the last time I'm going to use this, but we used this last year, last time we made a big batch of carnitas like this. So, going to get this going, and then once I get this all in there, I'm going to season the oil. Now, again, since I've used this before, the oil is already partially seasoned. That is, it has some good flavors already in it from the carnitas that we cooked last time. But we're just going to improve upon that a little bit in just a few minutes. We're going to wait for it to all get to the point where it's clear. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a half a pound of bacon, sliced bacon, in here. And that's bacon that we smoked here about a month and a half ago. We had 2 weeks in a maple and black pepper cure, and then we smoked it for about 3.5 hours at about 225 degrees. to make some really nice and tasty bacon. And the purpose of the bacon is just to flavor, again, to flavor the lard. Okay, the oil is starting to make some nice noise now, so I'm thinking it's about ready. So I'm just going to test it. Yeah, getting a few bubbles off of that. I'm testing it by putting a wooden spoon in to see if it starts to bubble, but I think it still needs to be a little bit hotter. So we will just wait another couple of minutes, and then what I'm going to do is add the bacon. Okay, it's been a few more minutes, so let's give this a try. Yeah, I'm getting some nice bubbles. You can test the oil by putting the end of a wooden spoon into the oil. If it starts to bubble like that, then your oil is at the right temperature to be able to fry something. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add about a half a pound of bacon. And this is just to flavor the lard. Boiling up nicely. And I'm going to give that just a couple of minutes to fry up, and then I'm going to fish that out and put it aside, and it's going to be a treat for the doggies later on, because like I said, this is just to flavor the lard right now. Okay, that bacon is nicely cooked and it's given a nice flavor to the lard. So I'm going to fish that out. I'm going to put it in a bowl. This is a beautiful bowl that my beautiful wife made. That lets me know what goes on inside of her head. She thinks of all the most wonderful things. So I'm just going to put it there, and this won't go to waste. It'll be a very well appreciated training treat for the pups. We're training our golden retriever, Sassy, to be a therapy dog, and this is what's referred to in this household anyway as a high value treat. So I'm going to set that aside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the next ingredient to flavor this lard. I've quartered 2 oranges. And I'm adding those oranges to the lard carefully, and they will bring a wonderful flavor to the lard. Okay, those are cooking nicely. I'm going to use my paddle here just to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Distribute them around. Get that flavor all the way through that lard. Adding the oranges is really almost a secret recipe, secret ingredient to this. And I've cut that beautiful pork roast into 4-inch pieces. And I'm going to add those 4-inch cubes to the lard now. Okay, there we go. I'll wipe my hands off here. But that is cooking very nicely. I have knocked the heat down to about medium high. And I'll use my paddle here. This thing is just so helpful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry these until that pork is crispy on the outside. So we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, now these are looking really good. The boil is a little less frenetic, which is kind of letting me know that you're probably close to the end here. So I'm going to pull that out a little bit, tap it. Yeah, that's feeling just starting to feel crispy on the outside, and that's the way I want it. I know a lot of people like to cook it a good bit longer till it's really crisp, deeply into it. That's not quite me. I kind of like it crispy on the outside, but I still like to have it nice, moist, and tender on the inside. Okay, so it looks like we are done. It's crispy on the outside. I'm going to turn the heat off here and pull that up. Is that not a good looking piece of pork? So I'm going to put that over here on the rack to dry, just to let it drip dry. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit there on the side of the Carnitas pan. Oh, and you're going to love these Crispies. These things are so good. And I cannot even tell you how good this kitchen smells right now. Man. It's kind of like a fishing expedition right now, just trying to find the pork. But the nice thing is, the oranges float to the top. So to find the pork, look for where it bubbles from the bottom. Remember, we started off with what were roughly 4-inch squares. Now, square is in the eye of the beholder. This one looks more square. Bring that a bit. And each of these 4-inch squares will make a good meal for 2 people to make tacos out of these wonderful carnitas. So, let me look around here. We're looking good. Nothing else is bubbling up from the bottom. I'm going to post a more, as I mentioned, we'll come over here a little bit, give you a better look at the carnitas here. I'm going to post a more diminutive recipe on Friday on www.historybytheplate.com. This is Ted Rogers. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Take care. Bye.